Marvel at the beauty of the cosmos in his brilliant TV series, Wonders of the Universe. It is the enthralling Professor Brian Cox, ladies and gentlemen. Professor, how nice to meet a professor again. That's good. So you can insist people call you Professor, I guess, couldn't you?
If I were that way inclined, it would be ridiculous.
Yeah,
though,
it would be
it?
quite ridiculous, I guess. So congratulations, you're Professor Brian Cox, OBE.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, last year.
That's a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
So here's the thing. It's 2012, OK, and some people are concerned because there is this thing floating around about this Mayan calendar, and their calendar ends in 2012. I don't know if it ends on a particular month or date. And some people are saying that means that's the end, that's when it's going to end. Is there anything in that at all? Is there anything in physics that would bear that up?
It's catastrophic drivel of the worst possible kind.
So why did it stop in 2012? Why did it stop? Do you know why? Was there a reason for that?
They had a complex calendars, these interlocking cycles, and they were very good at maths, and so they had calendars that last 10,000, 20,000 years, and they just started one at some arbitrary date in the past, and it rolls over on December 21st, 2012. But some people believe it, and I actually get quite a few emails from teachers saying, can you just tell my class that, because, you know, they've stopped working, they think that it's... So it is actually... it's not the...
That's kind of brilliant. You know what? I don't need... There's not going to be any work after December anyway.
But it's the worst kind of pseudo-scientific shite, and that's the last I'll say about it.
You know, you said the Mayans were great at maths, but you weren't great at maths, were you? You failed your maths A-level, didn't you?
No, I failed it. I got a D, which
That's
is...
a fail. A D means you didn't pass.
I mean, the thing was that when I was 18, I was just... I'd already joined a rock band, and I was just kind of crawling to my A-levels, and I thought, I'm not going to... I love doing physics, but I'm not going to really do it. I want to be a musician.
So you didn't you didn't think that was your future, then? Because that's you... Which one of you... Where were you there in D in there?
That'll be Tony Blair and me on the left. Actually, I think I look a bit chubby there, don't I? Enjoying the rock and roll lifestyle.
And did you enjoy the rock and roll lifestyle? Did you enjoy it to its fullest?
I don't know. I mean, that's not my first band. The first band was a rock band from Oldham.
They were called Dare.
Dare. Although we had a member of Thin Lizzy in it, so it was kind of always semi-professional. But we were just lads from Oldham. We got a record deal. We recorded an album in Los Angeles at Joni Mitchell's house.
Wow.
We toured with Jimmy Page, Gary Moore. So we had a good time. We were a bit innocent. We were a bit, you know...
Because how old were you then? You were 17, 18?
18, 19, 20, that kind of age.
And so Physics Lost could well have been the world of rock's, well, not necessarily a big gain, but it would have been... Because you were OK, but you weren't spectacularly gifted, were you?
Dare were a bit late. This is, what is it, 1988
so
or something
Dare
like
were
that.
a rock band, but a new romantic sort of rock band?
No, we were like sort of the Oldham Bon Jovi, is the best way you could describe
it.
Well,
hold on, let's let that sink in, because that sounds like that's what we're missing right now. That's the Oldham Bon Jovi.
Yeah, it was hairspray, leather jackets, jeans. Well, this is at the time, if you remember 1988, when it was the Happy Mondays, and it was, you know, it was that whole sort of renaissance in music in Manchester. And we were just about 2 years behind, I think. So we were an early 80s kind of hair rock.
But I love how pro-Manchester you are, because you are the Professor of Physics for Manchester University, is that right?
One of them.
OK, but you have other jobs as well, because you're doing the stuff for the BBC, you do a lot of TV stuff now, and it's always great, and we'll talk about stargazing in a minute. But you're also involved with CERN, with the Hadron Collider. Yeah. Which is the big underground fun fair just outside of Switzerland.
Look at that picture.
There we go. Wow, look at that.
That's actually the end of one of the detectors. That's a camera. It's a digital camera, but it's a 20 metres high and 40 metres long.
Wow.
And it's one of the two big cameras that take pictures of these the collisions, which recreate the conditions that were present less than a billionth of a second after the universe began.
And these are neutrinos crashing together, is that right? Or
protons.
Protons, OK. And they think they may have discovered something you've been looking for, physicists have been looking for a long time.
Yeah,
it's called the Higgs boson particle.
It's an incredible story. I mean, this thing was first dreamt up as a theory back in the 1960s by Peter Higgs, who's a Scottish physicist. He's still there in Edinburgh. And it was just for mathematical reasons, aesthetic reasons, a sense that the universe should be beautiful in some sense. But I don't think even he thought that it was just an observation of some beautiful part of physics.
And could you put it in layman's terms as what that observation was?
Well, it's to do with the universe is full of a field called the Higgs field. So it's stuff. You can imagine, I always call it cosmic treacle, and people's laugh, but that's essentially what it's like. Everywhere in the universe, full of this stuff. And all these particles get their mass by just interacting with it as they move through the universe, which sounds bizarre. What I find amazing about CERN is that we take those theories so seriously that we build 88 countries from around the world get together and build the biggest machine ever built, 27 kilometres in circumference, to look for this thing.
But you know what, here's one thing I want to ask you in particular is you talk about the science of the past, and I enjoyed the lecture I went to very much, and I've been enjoying your book. I've got Brian's... and I'm enjoying as much as I understand so far. I'll be honest with you, I read very slowly, and I read it a couple of times, so I finished the first chapter. And I do know, so I understand that part, but then it gets quite complex because it goes on more about, and I know you try and simplify it for us, but it is hard for people to keep. So when did it become clear to you that you could understand this stuff? That even though, you know, I know I'll probably get it one day, for us it seems hard to make that leap.
Do you know, it was way back. I mean, I'd always been interested in, I didn't know it was called physics, but science, the stars, astronomy, as far back as I can remember. And I think, you know, the great astronomer Carl Sagan once said that children always ask these questions. Like, why is there a universe? What is time? Where did the universe come from? And then they're miseducated in a way. They're told that these are childish questions and they should leave them alone, and adults don't think about those things.
I guess because we can't change them.
But they're real questions, and we are beginning to answer them.
I'm excited about... I was lucky enough to be invited along last year when Dara O'Brien and Brian Cox were doing a stargazing live